Hey everybody, it is Jordan Yates with OGGN, and I'm here to tell you about a new podcast that we have launched. It is called Balancing the Three E's with Scott Angelle, the voice of the U.S. energy worker. Scott, say hello to everybody.
Well, good morning, Jordan. It's great to see you. It's good to be with you. And certainly as we talk to America today about all things energy, I want to thank you for the good work that you're doing.
Of course, Scott, I'm excited to get your take on where this podcast idea came from, what we can expect to hear and see, and then learn a little bit more about your background. Are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's do it. You know, when you stop and think about podcasts, right? Not part of my generation kind of tools, but as we've learned, looking back on my career, I've been a consequential leader on all things energy policy. And it made sense as I've transitioned out of public policy making to use that experience to try to, I think, if you would, reach a national audience. I happen to believe that energy is so important to all things America. And balancing the three E's seemed to be the perfect title because I do believe that nobody does it better than the red, white, and blue. And certainly when we talk about energy, the USA energy workers have done it before. They can do it again. They wake up every day. They kiss their families goodbye, put on their hard hats and their steel-toe boots, and make sure we have the energy to fuel our great country.
Absolutely. And for anybody that is kind of new to this industry, what are the three E's?
Yeah, so it's a great point. So, you know, we believe that at somewhere along the way, the red states were probably more centered around one of those E's called energy, the blue states around another E called environment. We believe there's a third E called economy, and we believe that balancing those three E's is what I think the American energy policy ought to be, and we believe that runs right through the heart of the USA energy worker.
Absolutely. And it's a very interesting time to have somebody creating a podcast with a policy making background, considering how much the policies have been shifting in the United States over the past few years and honestly forever. But can you tell us a little bit about your background in that so we can get a good idea of where you're coming from?
Yeah, so my education is in petroleum land management, and then I was able to take that and do some local government service, and then got asked to be the secretary of the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources, the only secretary to have served governors of different parties, and then thereafter that, obviously getting up to Washington to serve as the director of the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, which is the offshore regulatory agency. So again, when you have a regulatory background and you also have an industry background, you get to see that nobody has a monopoly, right, on all the right answers. You certainly understand that government does not have all the right answers. And if you can kind of work between and pull people together, you tend to probably hit the target a little bit better. So I fundamentally believe that given my industry experience and my regulatory experience, it's a unique voice for America to be joining a podcast. And we certainly think we have discovered a few things worth talking about.
Absolutely. Can you give us a glimpse into some of the themes or subjects that you're going to cover in your podcast?
Well, we certainly want to, again, elevate and celebrate the USA energy worker. Again, you know, it's worth noting that I certainly believe in the old cliche that if you can read, thank a teacher. Our teachers deserve our credit. I like to add, if you can read at night in your warm or cool home, thank a teacher and a USA energy worker, right? So certainly part of the theme is to always elevate and celebrate the USA energy worker. We talk about economics. One of the things that we just recorded on recently was carbon capture and sequestration. Another thing that this industry, by and large, is leading the effort to improve the environment. Energy transition absurdity. I've kind of begun to follow David Blackman, who's done an amazing job on energy transition absurdity. Just some of the things that are fallacies associated with that public policy making. Pipeline, the safety of pipelines, the efficiencies of pipeline, oil spill prevention. And one of the things that we're going to be doing, I think is really cool, is that we're going to actually be in the studio with a couple real energy workers who put on hard hats and steel toe boots every day, and showing them showing America the fabric of these people who love their country, who love their families, who love a clean environment, who love a sunrise and a sunset as much as any other Americans do. So I think maybe Jordan probably focusing a little bit on both policy, but the reality of the human spirit of the people who do make this industry rock and roll.
Well, I think that that sounds very exciting, and it's going to be a great podcast. Whether or not people agree with different angles, I think they're going to be educated, which is so important, and get a real life look into the three E's, as you said. So, thank you so much for taking the initiative to create this and being a part of the Oil and Gas Global Network. I'm excited to see where it goes. And any other final thoughts before we sign off?
I just think that the USA energy worker has done so much, can do so much. We've had 6 recessions from 1973 to 2019. Each one of those recessions were preceded by a spike in energy prices. The best way to have affordable energy is to unleash the innovation and dedication and inspiration of the USA energy worker. We're looking forward to being with you in the future. Thank you again for what you do. And hello to all of our USA energy workers. And thank you for what you do.
Amazing. All right. Bye, guys.